My boy Izuku has came a long way. Just to see that ending panel of this chapter, it means so much. It really means so much when it comes to his character. I mean, he was given this name Deku since like the beginning of the series, and you know, as we know, Deku was an insult. It was supposed to be an insult to Deku, or Izuku, and to put him down. And then he met Ochako, and then she gave him, or twisted the kanji around to where it meant something very good. And he was happy. And we've seen his progression as a character, the way he uses tactics, the way he uses one for all. You know, just so many different things he's displayed throughout these 45 chapters. Just to see in this chapter, it symbolizes how far he has already come in just 45 chapters. Like, to see how he accepts this name that was at first given to him as an insult, and then he twisted it from fellow friends he made, for instance Ochako, that twisted into something very nice and sweet. And to see that in this chapter, at the end, it was beautifully displayed. Like, the mangaka, the way the mangaka used the paneling at the end of this chapter, it's rare to see something like that done. Like, the paneling in the final pages of this chapter, when you see Izuku accept the name Deku, you just see him holding up his sign, and then you see underneath that, you see Bakugo on the right, and then you see Ochako on the left. You see Ochako smiling, and when you see Bakugo, he's frowning as he thinks up a new name. And that paneling just right there, it symbolizes how he got this name without words. That's kind of what it means. Because, as we know, Bakugo gifted him the name, and that was the right side of, you know, the page. And then Ochako turned it and twisted it into something very good. And with that smile, she knows why he got that name. And so I felt very happy to see something like that in this chapter. Just a very good moment to just display how far he's come and how accepting he is. And Bakugo, the face he made when, you know, Izuku came up and he's like, my name will be Deku. He looked like he had the face on, like, why in the fuck would you like that name? Like, that was supposed to be an insult, you shit stain. It shouldn't be, you know, a good name for you to have as a hero name. So, obviously, Bakugo is quite upset about that, but I'm glad that Izuku decided to use it, because it showcases that he has matured and he does accept this name that has been gifted to him by Ochako. So, this chapter. Pretty much majority of the chapter focuses on everybody in the class getting their hero names. That's kind of what this chapter emphasizes on. Now, I wrote down every single name of everybody in this chapter for I don't forget, because there's so many damn names. I write that shit down. When it comes to chapters like this with a bunch of name drops, I have to write stuff. Like, I have to, because I'll forget that shit if it's very important. When it comes to characters in Boku no Hero Academia, majority of characters that get introduced, they usually are important. From what I've seen from these past 45 chapters of this series, almost every single character has kind of had a role to play, or they're kind of important, or they've had a little bit of time to shine in a specific chapter. And so, if the past tells me anything, I should pay attention to all these names that these characters get. And so I decided to write them down and try to remember them in this chapter review. So, one thing I want to point out, though, that I liked about this chapter, besides the names and stuff, was the artwork of certain panels. Like, oh my god. It's obvious which one I'm going to talk about first. Midnight. My fucking god, dude. Like, oh my god, that design of Midnight. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. That Midnight design is crazy. Cray. It's crazy. And then All Might at the end of the chapter, his facial expression when he's looking at the monitor, I'm willing to bet it's Endeavor. I'm willing to put some money. It's something similar to that. Probably Endeavor rigged the naming and made Todoroki to have the name Endeavor or something like that. But besides that, okay, let's get into some details. Every individual character kind of gets a name. And for the mangaka to take the time in this chapter to flesh out these different characters and, I guess, showcase different names to them, their own unique name, you can probably expect them to be very important later on down the road. At the very least, I hope they're important later down the road for the mangaka to take the time to give everybody a different name and give a description to every individual name. So, Tsuyu, she got Froppy. I think it's Froppy? Yeah, it's Froppy. She got the name Froppy, and that's very cute. A very cute name, the way she uses her actual appearance as part of her name. And she says she's had this name since she was very young. She wanted to use this name. So, Froppy. Very cute name. I'm still going to call her Frog Girl, of course. Frog Girl is just a beautiful name. But, yeah, Froppy. That's an awesome name. And then, there was a bunch of other names. Like Todoroki, he chose a very plain name. He just used his actual name. Shoto, he used his name. So, Todoroki didn't really want to decide on any other name. He just wanted his given name. And I thought that was very unexpected. Like, there's some people that were actually doing the exact same. Like, you know, Ida in this chapter, he chose to use his name, Tinya. And from what we come to find out, like, Ida's going through a crisis right now. As we know, his brother is in the hospital. We come to find out in this chapter, his brother will no longer be able to walk. Pretty much he's legless, let's just put it like that. So, since his brother's in that condition, he can no longer, you know, be a hero. And so, his brother wanted Ida to take upon the name, his hero name, and carry its legacy. That's what Ida's brother wanted. And it's sad if you think about it, because in this chapter, right at the beginning of the chapter, there is a lot of focus on the meaning of character names, or your hero names. For instance, Deku, or Izuku, he in his mind, he had all these names. Like, he had it on a notebook. As we know, he loves writing stuff down and figuring stuff out. He had all these different hero names written down for what he wanted to be called. Like, he had, like, Mighty, Might Man, he had, like, All Might Jr., you know, he had all these crazy names that was similar to All Might. And in this chapter, there's a lot of focus on if you were to choose a name, this name is going to stick with you, which is very obvious. And, of course, you should take the time to really think about it. But there's more meaning behind that. If you think about it, in the chapter, it showcased that if you were to choose a name very similar to a hero, let's say, for instance, one of our characters decided to use Red Riot, and there was another person that was called Crimson Riot, and he was a very good hero, it can make it to where people look at you as if you need to live up to that person. Like, there's a lot of expectations from you if that name gets popular. If you know, like, your name is, let's say, All Might Jr. If Deku chose All Might Jr., he would be stuck with that name. And people look at him as if he needs to live up to the expectations of All Might. And so, Izuku in this chapter, he started contemplating that. He's like, I can't really live up to the expectations of All Might at the moment. And see, there's too many differences between me and All Might. I'm not physically as strong as All Might because my body breaks. That's pretty much what Deku is trying to say. And so, to see that, you kind of find out the weight of a hero name. You should always choose your name and understand the weight behind it. You shouldn't choose a name to be similar to another hero because there might be some weight behind it that might hurt you in the near future. And it really evolves the way you're going to go throughout your life as either a hero or maybe one day you might turn into a villain. That's the point I'm getting at. So, very interesting discussion when it came to hero names. And I like the decision on some of the characters, the way they chose, and they realized that there was a lot of weight behind certain names, and they needed to understand that the name they choose will carry with them probably for the rest of their life. So they need to make sure they carry it properly. Now, going through some of the names, I'm not going to go individually into the characters, but going through some of the names, there was like one reference in this chapter, which I highly doubt is going to be the main name of one of the girls, but there was a reference to Alien in this chapter, and it was Alien Queen, and obviously it was an alien reference, because if you look at the artwork, you saw like an alien tongue stick out, and I'm like, fuck. So yeah, an alien reference in this chapter. So here's the characters. We got Red Riot, Froppy. We got, let's see here, which I highly doubt sticking around. It's not really going to stick around, but it was referenced to Herpaderp. I remember a couple chapters back when the dude, Kaminari, he actually, when he went into his, like, brain dead mode and, you know, he was fried for a little bit, he was just saying random words. Well, in that, we kind of find out that he almost got that hero name, like Herpaderp, pretty much. That would have been a fucked up name to be blessed with. And then he comes to find out he wants to name Charge Zuma. So, not a bad name. Next names go through Earphone Jack. I like that name. Pretty badass. It rolls off the tongue. Earphone Jack. Tentacle. Not very original. Okay. Cellophane. I think it's Cellophane or whatever it's called. It's something. It's the tape boy, dude. And then Tellman. Yeah, that just like very original. Sugarman. And then Pinky, I like that. Pinky's pretty fucking funny. And then you got Invisible Girl. That's gonna cause some copyright issues. Let's see, Kredati from Momo. Ooh, I like that. I like that name. And then Shoto from Todoroki. So, as I already covered, you know, he chose his given name. And then a couple others. Tokoyami, he chose Tsukuyomi. The moon I planned. Anyways, grape juice for... I can't even say that with a straight face. Grape juice for grape... Grape juice for Great Boy. Fuck, dude. Like, yo. Oh. Grape juice. Really? Great Boy gets grape juice. Yo, that's greatness, man. That's straight up greatness, dude. Great Boy MVP and best boy of the damn series, man. Grape juice. Yeah. Grape juice. And then Anima. I like that name. King of Explodo Kills. And, of course, the name is not legit yet. He's, you know, Bakugo's still trying to work out a name. But King of Explodo Kills. Uravity. That's a badass name. Ochiko, 10 points for that one. That's a very unique and original name. I like that. And then Ida chose, you know, his regular name, Tenya. So, that's about it. It covers about all the different hero names in this chapter. And that kind of sums up what this chapter is about. So tell me your thoughts. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or not wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.